course, millions of people are expected to travel over the weekend for the Mid-Autumn Festival. For more on that travel rush, we're joined by John Gong. He's a professor at the University of International Business and Economics, as well as a China Forum expert. Good morning to you, John. Always good to see you.
Thank you, Gerald.
So we're fresh off a bustling summer travel season, and people in China are again on the move this weekend. What are some of the biggest travel trends that you're seeing? Where are people going? What are they doing?
Well, we have about 3 days of essentially vacation time going home. I think due to the extensive high-speed railway network, traveling in China is a lot easier, and it's actually more affordable. I just give you one example. I'm going to go to Shanghai the day after tomorrow. It's about 1,300 kilometers. It's going to take a little bit over 4 hours by train, and it's going to cost a little bit less than $100. At this price, a lot of people are traveling. Actually, we don't know the number yet, but the expectation is that there will be a big jump, a spike in railway traffic, airway traffic. So I think the general trend is becoming more like that of developed countries during this long weekend time. People take the time to visit their families, to go on vacation, to go to touristy places, and it's very normal now. And I hope that this time it will beef up a little bit China's consumption level. We definitely need people to spend their money. The consumption, the consumption level has a lot of room to be improved, in my view.
John, you mentioned the Mid-Autumn holidays officially run for 3 days, but the industry is also reporting much higher bookings for this holiday season compared with the Dragon Boat Festival in June, which was also a 3-day holiday. Why do you suppose that is?
I think during the COVID time, a lot of people are holding back. They can't travel. They haven't taken vacations. We've seen a bit of a jump in travel last year. And I think this trend is going to continue. The overall travel industry, the overall tourism industry is recovering, I think. One thing I can say about China's economy is that the service sectors are recovering a lot better than the manufacturing sectors. I guess there's a trend probably that people are increasing their expenditures on services as opposed to buying real goods. I think that reflects a trend towards an upgrade in consumption patterns. That's something quite interesting to observe. I think in general, in industrialized and developed countries, the expenditures on these services, on tourism, and other related activities are increasing faster than on buying food and drinks and these things.
I'm glad you bring up this whole services sector, because it's not really just about transportation, right? With tourism, as you mentioned, you've got hotel, lodging, activities.
Right.
So are these sectors getting a real boost because of travel itself?
Absolutely. It's actually very competitive in China. Interesting thing about China's consumer market is that people follow the trend. People are, I describe this as a herding behavior. On and after the cities all of a sudden become very popular for one thing or another, for barbecuing, for special food, for special festival activities. So people flock there. and many cities in China are looking at this traffic and trying to create something unique, a unique experience. And it's very competitive, actually. The government's heavily involved in that. In China, we have, usually in a city, we have a government official, a bureau, who's responsible for attracting tourism. And they are going out of their way trying to, fight for a space in the very crowded marketplace. And I would expect the same thing is happening. And we'll see what will be the next hotspot during this 3-day long weekend.
Right. So, John, earlier you mentioned, like with this surge in travel and consumption activity, how might this all feed into China's overall economic growth, especially in the second half of this year?
Yeah, well, I mean, we definitely need a boost. I think China's economy is facing great challenges, mostly coming from the ripple effect of the slowdown of the property market, because local governments' tax revenues are very much relying on that, and that piece is gradually going away. And local governments are, having problem of balancing their budget, and so they have to cut back on expenditures, and that's going to be reflected in the market in general. A lot of people relying on the government, people, contracts for the government also cutting back, and that inevitably cuts into the GDP growth. So I think what has to be compensated for has to be coming from other sectors. Tourism is a good candidate, and other areas have to step up to make up their need. And also, I think the government needs to take a counter-cyclical strategy, as opposed to just cutting back on expenditures. I think, this is something I strongly advocate. At a time like this, the government should do exactly the opposite, in my view. They should, borrow money from the central government, increase the national debt level, and keep the expenditures. I think that's important. Back to your question about the recovery of China's economy, I think tourism is one way of doing it. We hope that this time it's going to generate more revenues, contributing to the GDP growth, and other areas as well. I think we'll have to see for the rest of the year whether we can keep the momentum, at least keep the current momentum, keep the current about 5% GDP growth for the rest of the year, so that we can achieve that goal by the end of the year.